Okay. So have you ever like seen one of those videos online, like those AI
Ooh.
videos
Yeah.
that where they're doing something incredible and you kind of just stop and you're like,
Hmm.
wait a minute, can it actually think? Like really think?
Hmm.
Not just,
Right.
you know,
Right.
spit out facts or write a poem, but actually
Yeah.
understand things and make judgments like we do.
It's a question that's on a lot of people's minds these days.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we don't have to just speculate. There's actually a really cool research study
Okay.
that put a new AI, it's called o1-Preview.
O1-Preview.
Yeah, through like a whole bunch of cognitive tests.
Oh,
I'm talking like 14 different areas of higher order thinking.
14.
Yeah, from critical thinking to creative problem solving, even like collaboration.
14.
Wow.
They really threw everything at it.
Yeah, they really wanted to see,
Uh,
if o1-Preview could handle the kinds of mental challenges that we face every day, but also, the ones that really like push the limits of human intelligence.
Okay, color me intrigued. So did o1-Preview like pass with flying colors?
Let's just say it had some seriously impressive results
Okay.
and maybe even a few surprises along the way.
Okay, stop teasing up, spill the beans.
All right.
Where did this AI really shine?
Well, one area that really stood out was critical thinking.
No.
That ability to analyze information,
Yeah.
spot flaws in arguments, make sound judgments.
Mm-hmm.
So they used a really well-established test for this. It's called the Ennis-Weir Critical Thinking Essay Test.
The Ennis-Weir? What?
Ennis-Weir Critical Thinking Essay Test, or EWC-TET for short.
EWT-TED.
Okay.
Okay, catchy. So how did o1-Preview do?
Well, it scored 81.25%.
81.25%.
Okay.
Yeah. And to put that into perspective,
Yeah.
that's comparable to how humans scored after they've had specific training.
Wait, hold up. You're telling me this AI basically just like walked in and matched the critical thinking abilities of
Well,
people who like actually studied this stuff?
exactly. And it wasn't just about, ticking boxes.
Or finding the right answer? They actually gave it this scenario about overnight parking regulations.
Okay, a real world
A
problem.
real world problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, with some logical twists and turns.
Now what did it do?
It actually pinpointed the flaws in the argument against overnight parking.
Wow.
Even highlighted a weak analogy that was used to support the ban.
So it was like reading between the lines,
Yeah.
dissecting the logic, calling out the BS.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
That's wild. Okay, so what else did they throw at it?
Well, they also wanted to see how it handled systems thinking.
Systems thinking.
Yeah. Think of it as like the ability to see the big picture,
Okay.
how different parts connect and influence each other. It's super crucial for understanding complex issues.
Right, from like ecosystems to economies.
Exactly.
So how did o1-Preview do with all that?
It aced the biological systems thinking test.
Aced it.
Yeah, like literally a perfect score.
A perfect score.
Yeah. This is a test that a lot of middle schoolers struggle with.
Yeah.
But o1-Preview just sailed through it.
Wow, talk about a brainiac. But surely they gave it some tougher challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. They upped the ante with tests like the Village of Abese.
The Village of what?
It's Abesee.
Okay.
And the Lake Urmia vignette.
Okay.
These are like real-world scenarios with tons of interconnected factors, stuff that even makes some college grads scratch their heads.
So how did our AI friend handle those?
It consistently outperformed both undergraduate and graduate students
Wow.
on these complex systems thinking tasks.
Okay.
It's like o1-Preview could just see
Right.
the whole intricate web of relationships at play.
Okay. I'm officially impressed. This AI is like racking up wins in critical thinking and now systems thinking. But, we live in a digital world, right?
Yeah.
So how did it fare with computational thinking?
You're hitting on a crucial point there.
Yeah.
And I was really curious about this one, too.
Okay.
They gave o1-Preview challenges like the Bebr's Challenge,
Okay.
which tests computational problem-solving skills,
Yep.
and the Algorithmic Thinking Test, which is all about designing and analyzing algorithms.
Right. Algorithms. That's the stuff that powers so much of our online lives.
Exactly.
So did o1-Preview like crack the code, so to speak?
Not only did it solve the problems,
Okay.
but it also explained its reasoning step by step.
Wait, so it's not just crunching numbers
Yeah.
or blindly following instructions. It's actually breaking down the problem and articulating its thought process.
Exactly. And that's like a hallmark of computational thinking.
Right.
Being able to think in this really structured, logical way to solve complex problems.
Right. So far, o1-Preview is 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Critical thinking systems. Thinking, computational thinking. Did they throw any design challenges its way?
Funny you should mention that.
Yeah.
They actually tested its design thinking abilities
Okay.
using LeetCode coding questions.
LeetCode.
Yeah. These are notorious for requiring you to optimize code for efficiency and performance.
Okay, so like could it write elegant code?
Right. It's not just about getting it to work. It's about making it work beautifully.
Okay.
Get this, o1-Preview consistently outperformed the median human performance on these LeetCode problems.
Hold on. It a better coder than a significant chunk of humans.
Yeah, we're not talking about just beating a few people. It's doing better than half of
Right.
human coders out there.
That's getting a little freaky.
Yeah.
Okay, what else did they test? Did they go full 2001, A Space Odyssey?
Well, they didn't ask it to write poetry or anything,
Yeah.
but they did delve into metacognition, which is basically the ability to think about your own thinking.
Okay. Metacognition.
Yeah.
That sounds a little head-spinning.
Yeah, it's like having an inner critic.
Okay.
That helps you analyze your own thought processes and figure out where you might be going wrong.
So did o1-Preview pass the Know Thyself test?
They saw significant improvements over its predecessor, GPT-4o.
Okay.
Especially when it came to tackling complex math problems. They used a data set called math, and o1-Preview showed better calibration and sensitivity scores, meaning it was better at judging the accuracy of its own answers and identifying potential errors in its reasoning.
So it's not just spitting out answers. It's like evaluating its own performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a student double-checking their work before handing in a test.
Okay, so we've got critical thinking systems, computational thinking, design thinking, and now metacognition. At this point, I'm half expecting it to like compose a symphony or write the next great American novel.
Right.
What other cognitive hurdles did they throw at this AI?
Well, they wanted to see if it could flex its creative muscles.
Okay.
So they gave it tests like the alternate uses task.
Alternate uses task.
Yeah, which measures divergent thinking.
Okay.
It's all about coming up with multiple creative solutions to a problem.
Okay.
Like if you gave it a brick and said, go wild, what can you do with this?
Okay.
And surprisingly, it outperformed university students on this task.
No way. So you're telling me this AI is more imaginative
It came up with a wider range
than a bunch of sleep-deprived, caffeine-fueled college kids.
of creative uses for a simple brick?
What's next? Is it going to start painting abstract art
Well,
and composing haiku?
they also tested its convergent thinking
Okay.
using the remote associates test,
Go.
where you have to find a word that connects three seemingly unrelated words.
Okay.
For example, if I gave you cottage Swiss and cake, what would you say?
Jeez.
You got it. And guess what? Once again, o1-Preview outperformed university students,
Really?
showing a real knack for finding those aha moments
Why?
and making connections between seemingly disparate concepts.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This AI is firing on all cylinders. But there's still one big question I have.
Okay.
Collaborative thinking. I mean, we humans are social creatures.
Right.
We love to brainstorm, bounce ideas off each other. Can this AI play nice with others?
That's a great question, and you're right. Collaboration is key to so much of human achievement.
Yeah.
So the researchers set up experiments where multiple o1-Preview agents work together to
Right.
solve math problems.
So like a little AI study group?
Kinda, yeah.
Did they all get along?
They not only got along, they actually outperformed single-agent systems.
Wow.
Teamwork really does make the dream work, even in the world of AI.
Right.
They even ran a group chat experiment to simulate human collaboration.
Hold on, a group chat.
Hmm.
Like, were these AI bots sending each other emojis and GIFs?
Not quite.
Okay.
But the point was to see if they could communicate effectively,
Right.
share information, and work toward a common goal. And the results were fascinating.
So what happened?
The multi-agent system successfully solved the problems,
Wow.
highlighting the importance of clear communication and role assignment, just like in a real-world team.
So we've got critical thinking systems, thinking, computational thinking, design thinking, metacognition, creative thinking, and collaborative thinking. Did they leave any cognitive stones unturned with this AI?
You'd think they would have run out of tests by then,
Right.
but they didn't stop there. They also looked at data literacy, abstract reasoning, analogical reasoning, and even scientific reasoning.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous. This AI is basically running a cognitive marathon.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
So how did it fare in those extra events?
Well, it showed strong statistical reasoning skills in data literacy tests,
Okay.
though it did face some challenges with interpreting visuals like charts and graphs.
Ah, so maybe not ready to replace data analysts just yet. What about the other areas?
In abstract reasoning, it had some limitations, likely because those tests relied on visual data processing,
Okay.
which seems to be a weaker point for o1-Preview.
Right.
However, in analogical reasoning, where it had to identify relationships between different concepts, it did very well, often matching or even exceeding the performance of university students.
Okay.
And in scientific reasoning, it again demonstrated an understanding comparable to or surpassing that of college students,
Wow.
especially when tested on the test of scientific literacy skills.
Okay, so it's basically a cognitive powerhouse with a few areas where it's still developing.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
But surely, even with all these impressive results, there must be some limitations, right? I mean, no AI is perfect.
You're absolutely right. No AI is perfect.
Right.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because those limitations tell us a lot about where AI still needs to evolve and what it means for the future of, well, thinking itself.
All right. I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's dive into those limitations and see what they reveal about the future of these thinking machines. Okay, so we've spent like the last little while kind of just geeking out over all of o1-Preview's impressive cognitive abilities. But you mentioned it has some limitations.
It does.
So what are those? And what do they tell us about like the future of AI?
Well, one of the key limitations is its struggle with visual information.
Ah, right. We touched on that earlier with the data literacy tests. It's like it can decode logic puzzles
Right.
and write elegant code, but showed a chart.
Yeah.
And it's suddenly lost.
Exactly. It seems to excel in areas where language and symbols are dominant.
But processing visual data, that's still a hurdle.
Yeah.
And, you know, think about how much you rely on vision.
Right.
Reading facial expressions, understanding maps, even appreciating art.
Totally.
Yeah.
If AI is going to truly think like us, it needs to be able to make sense of the visual world,
Right.
not just the world of words and numbers.
Absolutely. That's a huge area of research right now.
Okay.
Combining computer vision with the language processing abilities that we've been talking about, it's not an easy problem to solve.
Right.
But the progress being made is exciting.
So visual processing is one thing.
Yeah.
But what about abstract thinking?
Right.
Like the kind we use to ponder philosophy ethics, or even just like the meaning of life.
Right.
Can AI reach that level?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
While o1-Preview did okay in some abstract reasoning tasks,
Okay.
it's still limited when it comes to truly high-level thinking, especially those involving, you know, ethical dilemmas or subjective experiences.
So it can ace a logic test, but it's not ready to debate the trolley problem.
Right.
Or write an existentialist novel.
Exactly. Right now, it seems like AI excels at tasks where there's a clear right or wrong answer
Okay.
or a logical path to follow.
Right.
But the fuzzy gray areas of human experience, that's where it still struggles.
Which is both reassuring and a little terrifying, right?
Yeah.
It means AI isn't replacing philosophers anytime soon.
Right.
But it also raises questions about what happens if AI does start to develop something resembling a moral compass.
It's a Pandora's box for sure. This study highlights the need for human oversight,
Okay.
especially in areas like decision-making with ethical implications.
Speaking of which, what about the impact on education?
Yeah.
If AI can already outperform us students in some areas, what does that mean for the future of learning?
Right.
Should we all just become AI whisperers?
Well, the researchers actually argue that we need a radical rethink of our educational goals and methods.
So not just adding a coding with AI class to the curriculum.
Nope. Yeah. Much bigger than that. They suggest focusing on skills that complement AI's strengths.
Okay, so like what?
Critical thinking, creativity, ethical decision-making, collaboration.
So instead of trying to outcalculate the AI,
Right.
we need to focus on the things that make us uniquely human.
Exactly. It's about teaching students how to think critically about AI-generated outputs, to discern fact from fiction in an age of AI-driven misinformation,
Right.
and to understand the ethical implications of this increasingly powerful AI.
It sounds like we're moving from an era of knowledge is power to an era of knowing what to do with knowledge is power.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And this shift needs to happen not just in classrooms, but in workforce training, too.
Yeah.
We need to prepare future generations for a world where AI is a collaborator, not just a competitor.
It's amazing how much ground we've covered in just this one deep dive.
Yeah.
We've gone from AI acing tests to reimagining education and the future of work.
It's a lot to think about.
It really is. But what does this all mean for like the average person right now? Should we be panicking or celebrating?
It's not about either extreme. It's about understanding what these advancements mean
Okay.
and preparing ourselves for a future where AI is increasingly integrated into every aspect of our lives.
So knowledge is power, but understanding is key.
Absolutely. We've seen that o1-Preview exhibits remarkable cognitive abilities,
Yeah.
but it still has limitations,
Right.
especially with visual data abstract thinking and navigating human ethics. It's a snapshot of where AI is today,
Right.
but it's constantly evolving.
It's like we're watching the evolution of intelligence in real time,
Yeah,
both artificial and our own.
and that brings us back to the initial question.
Okay.
Can AI truly think? We've seen that it can perform incredibly well on tasks that we once thought were uniquely human.
Right.
But there's still this gap between what AI can do
Yeah.
and what we consider true understanding consciousness or even wisdom.
So are we on the verge of creating sentient machines?
That's a question we can't answer definitively yet. But these findings force us to confront some pretty big questions about the nature of intelligence consciousness
Yeah.
and what it means to be human in a world where AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Okay. My brain is officially full. We've covered so much ground today.
We have.
But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this topic.
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway you want listeners to walk away with?
Yeah. You know, it's amazing. It really does feel like we went on a journey
Yeah.
through the human mind and the mind of a machine. What really stood out to me was how this research challenges us to think differently about our own intelligence.
It really does. It's like AI is holding up this mirror,
Right?
forcing us to see the complexities of things that we often take for granted.
Right.
Like visual processing, something that you do without even thinking about it,
Right.
is still this major hurdle for AI.
It makes you realize just how much is going on
Yeah.
beneath the surface of our everyday thinking.
And this is just like a snapshot of AI today.
Right. Right.
Imagine what future versions will be capable of. The pace of development is just incredible.
It really is. It's moving so fast.
So the real question isn't just, can AI think?
Right.
But how will AI redefine what we even consider thinking as it continues to evolve?
That's the big question. And as AI tackles these more and more complex tasks, the line between human and artificial intelligence is only going to get blurrier.
Which can be exciting and a little bit scary all at the same time.
Absolutely. It's both.
So how do we even approach this?
Well, that's why these conversations are so important. We need to be thinking about the ethical implications,
Yeah.
the societal impact, the potential risks, alongside the incredible opportunities.
It's like we're all kind of collectively writing this next chapter
Yeah.
in the story of intelligence.
Yeah.
And we need to choose our words carefully.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
AI's growing capabilities
Yeah.
really force us to confront some fundamental questions. What does it mean to be human in an age of increasingly intelligent machines?
Okay.
How do we ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly?
Right.
And how do we prepare ourselves and future generations for a world where that line between human and artificial intelligence becomes increasingly blurred?
Wow. Those are some pretty heavy questions. It feels like you've given us this deep dive into AI,
Yeah.
and now you're leaving us with these thought-provoking questions to ponder.
Well, it's not about having all the answers.
Yeah.
It's about sparking curiosity and inviting everyone to join in this ongoing conversation about the future that we're creating.
So the big question, can AI truly think? That's still up for debate.
Definitely still up for debate.
But one thing's for this deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
It really has.
And to our listener, as you go about your day, as you interact with technology, even as you just think about the world around you, consider this.
Yeah.
What does it mean to learn to be human in an age where AI is becoming more and more capable?
The future is unfolding right before our eyes, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
Until next time. Keep those brains buzzing.